a big example here is the burn is the big. It's going to be the mystery of this season, right? So people are saying it's a little bit better than. Specifically, Kyle was saying it's a little bit better than the Red Angel mystery because you at least know what the burn is from the start, where the Red Angel is just a word that you don't know until a couple episodes in, which is true. You know that the burn is the dilithium apparently spontaneously combusted, which I find funny I find that unintentionally funny, and it blew up all the ships in Starfleet, and now no one has any gas to get anywhere, so the Federation has crumbled because people can't go different places. Yeah. To me, it feels very much like a Discovery plot. On a technical franchise level, the super nerdy response to this is not everyone uses dilithium. So there should be races out there that are still warping around, and this hasn't impacted anything. The Romulans should be able to get away with things.
I don't think that they've implied that isn't the case, have they?
They have not, but
it seems like the burn has specific connotations to the Federation as it stands right now.
Right. So the Federation going away basically is like all the cops went away, and now everything is just crime riddled and stuff like that. But it ties into, they can explain this, but you're still left with this position where the Federation is technologically destroyed by this, and they can't just adapt new technology exists is my takeaway. Like there's a way to do this, and I guess they got away with it by saying that the dilithium blew up all the ships or something like that. There's a couple of them left. The other thing, like that's once you get past that sort of weird technical nerdy stuff, which maybe isn't the most important thing, you're back to this religiously tinged vocabulary that New Trek uses. The Convent of Eight or whatever was in Picard. The Conclave of Eight. This is.
Oh, I had almost blocked that out of my memory.
This is just the burn, which is an event that has some sort of. It didn't happen all that long ago. It happened within a lifetime for people in the Star Trek universe, 100 years ago, but no one knows anything about it, and no one has any information outside of this very religious-sounding event that changed everything. And you need a Messiah to come in and correct the burn. And I look forward to the burn being linked to some inane thing that happened before, and like this is the whole reason that it all came about. But I'm really annoyed by this melodramatic grandstanding of vocabulary where everything is tinged with an idea of faith. There's just everyone has faith that this is the thing that has happened. I have faith that this is going to be coming back. And you had said, I'll throw this to you shortly. I'm just ranting now, but the last 5 minutes with that guy is purely religiously driven. Unless he's a hologram or some kind of AI, I have no understanding of how he spent 40 years sitting in that room doing that. He must be a hologram or something, I have to assume. Although he talks about his father. So
yeah, I don't think he's a hologram. I think he's just serves the story without being really thought out as to what the
I don't buy him.
Specifics of 40 years of that is.
Yeah, he's not insane. He should be insane sitting there looking at the same map all day, like going like, where the hell are the ships for 40 years? And he's treated as he is the high priest who's been waiting for his Messiah to come back. Yeah. The Messiah is now here.
He's like the knight in the Grail chamber, basically, in Indiana Jones.
And he has a tribalistic ritual that he cannot do because he is not anointed by God. He can't raise the flag. He's not a commissioned officer in Star Trek. Who gives a fuck? Like, there's no... buddy, this is not the time for regulations at this point. If you're trying to find other ships, just raise your fucking flag if that's what you've got to do. That's my big problem with this show, is that it moves away from a kind of realistic, humanistic look at things into a grand statement of the universe about everything, including Star Trek and Starfleet.
Yeah. It's not that Star Trek hasn't had its fair share of grandstanding in the past, but it's usually like brief. It's not like, a whole season arc worth of Picard. Well, I guess now it is, but of Picard grandstanding about the why the Federation is worth it on a spiritual level or something. That stuff, I find the burn, that thing, and what you're talking about, a very modern trope that I generally can't stand, because I think it's a shorthanded mystery, and it pops up in so much sci-fi and genre stuff, and it's never satisfying, and it always sounds dumb. So it's always like the burn, or the awakening, or the destruction, or the envisioning, or
The happening.
these weird,
the
like,
happening.
yeah, these weird, like, isolated words that don't mean anything, that are given this like grand weight as a mystery point.
Yep.
This one, at least, I guess, they're probably going to figure out. I kind of hope they don't go into like what actually happened and they just start rebuilding the Federation.
Yeah.
Because I actually was kind of relieved when they were like, the burn, and she's like, the burn, what's that? And he wasn't like, no one knows, it's just one day all the stars went, or some shit like that. It's like, no, all the ships exploded and the Federation collapsed, and they call it the burn because everything burned at the same time. It's like, oh, okay, well, at least it has an explanation. I'm sure they're going to go into what happened or whatever.